A life of fear, violence, and sexual assault. That is what a woman was hoping to escape when she came to the United States. She even walked across 3 countries to get here, but now her future is in jeopardy. News 8's Rebecca Lopez is live in our newsroom with the story. And why is it that she could be sent back?
Last month, Attorney General Jeff Sessions ruled that domestic violence victims could no longer seek asylum in the United States, and that has left many wondering what will happen to them, including a woman from El Salvador who is now living in Irving. Her case will be one of the first ones heard in the country by an immigration judge. Roxana Calderon fled El Salvador with her 3 children. She feared she was going to die.
I'm very scared to go back to El Salvador because I know he's still there. He told me he was going to kill me, and I was never going to be happy.
She left an abusive partner who she says beat her violently and often raped her.
He would hit me with his hand or drag me by the hair, and then he would say I had to be with him or he would kill me.
She walked for weeks from El Salvador through Guatemala into Mexico and finally into the United States to seek asylum and safety.
I told myself if I can get to the United States, it will save my life.
She has been waiting for 3 years to go before an immigration judge. But before she could get that hearing, Attorney General Jeff Sessions made the decision to no longer allow domestic violence or gang violence victims to seek asylum in the United States.
I have so many people coming into my office scared. What am I going to do? They thought they were on safe ground. They thought they were on solid legal ground, and now they're not. And now they're frightened.
Sessions says a decision was made to stop the flow of illegal immigrants misusing the system, but others say the policy punishes those who need help.
They're doing it because they are genuinely desperate.
Roxana Calderon says she fears what will happen to her and her children should she be sent back to a place where violence was a way of life. Roxana's case goes before an immigration judge on August the 1st. Her attorney believes that the judge will rule to have her deported, but he plans to file a federal appeal, and he believes that this policy and Attorney General Sessions will end up being challenged in court for a very long time. Reporting live, Rebecca Lopez, Channel 8 News.
All right, Rebecca, tonight.